The story begins with a high school girl named Geng Geng, a cheerful and cute girl from a humble family. Although her grades were not exceptional, she managed to pass the entrance exam for Yu Huai High School, one of the most prestigious schools in the city. Geng Geng felt overjoyed when she learned she was accepted, especially because her childhood friend Jian, who she hadn't seen in years, also got in. Reuniting with Jian made her even more excited about starting high school. On the first day, Geng Geng struggled to find her name on the class list posted on the school notice board. She was small and couldn't see past the crowd of students gathered in front. Beside her stood a tall boy who seemed amused as he scanned the list. Curious, Geng Geng asked why he was laughing, and the boy pointed out that his name, Yu Huai, was listed right next to hers, making it sound like Geng Yu Huai Geng, which means unforgettable memories. Embarrassed but intrigued, Geng Geng asked if his name was indeed Yu Huai, and he confirmed it. When she introduced herself as Geng Geng, Yu Huai smiled warmly and said he was glad to meet her. Yu Huai extended his hand for a handshake, saying they would be classmates. Before Geng Geng could respond, Jian appeared, grabbed her arm, and whisked her away. It turned out that Jian and Geng Geng were in the same class. Jian soon introduced Geng Geng to Beita, another classmate, and the three quickly became friends. When their homeroom teacher, Mr. Zhang, arrived, he nervously introduced himself. It was his first time as a homeroom teacher, and his unease was evident. Later, Mr. Zhang allowed the students to choose their seats. Geng Geng then planned to sit with Jian, but she opted to sit next to a handsome boy she had a crush on. Left alone, Geng Geng sat in a random seat. Moments later, Yu Huai boldly told Mr. Zhang he wanted to sit with Geng Geng. His directness made the class erupt in cheers and laughter. Hearing this, Mr. Zhang asked Geng Geng if she was okay with the arrangement. Feeling awkward but not wanting to refuse, she agreed to move and share a desk with Yu Huai. The next day, during the school assembly, Geng Geng heard whispers about the senior giving a speech. He was known to be one of the smartest and most admired students at Yu Huai. At that moment, Jian and Beita also mentioned that Yu Huai was highly intelligent, having won the inter-school physics Olympiad. Geng Geng found this hard to believe since Yu Huai often dozed off in class and frequently got scolded by teachers. Yu Huai explained that he slept in class if the lessons were too easy, but when something was challenging, he focused until he understood it completely. As time passed, Geng Geng grew increasingly annoyed with Yu Huai. He often teased her and never helped her with her studies, despite being one of the top students. Once, he even bluntly said that Geng Geng wasn't smart and had only gotten into Yu Huai by sheer luck. Hurt and frustrated, Geng Geng decided to switch seats, hoping to escape from Yu Huai's constant teasing. Despite her complaints, Geng Geng couldn't deny that Yu Huai was handsome and incredibly cool when he played basketball. Her friends, Jian and Beita, loved teasing her, saying that she secretly liked him and didn't really want to move seats. Geng Geng often felt that getting into Yu Huai High School was just a stroke of luck. Instead of focusing on academics, she enjoyed her photography hobby. One day, while Yu Huai was playing basketball, Geng Geng decided to capture the moment when he was about to score. However, the flash from her camera accidentally distracted Yu Huai, causing him to miss the shot. Frustrated, Yu Huai shouted, asking who had used the flash. Panicking, Geng Geng quickly slipped away before he could figure out it was her. But Yu Huai eventually discovered the truth and demanded an apology. To tease her, he grabbed her camera, took a selfie, and even snapped a picture of the two of them together. Despite his playful nature, Yu Huai showed he cared deeply for Geng Geng. He bandaged her wounds when she fell off her bicycle, gave her a ride home, and even helped her improve her grades. One day, when Yu Huai missed school for 2 days, Geng Geng became worried. Unexpectedly, Yu Huai pranked her by pretending to be his mother and telling her he was sick. But when he saw how genuinely concerned she was, he admitted he had been absent to participate in the physics Olympiad. Shortly after, an incident caused tension between them, and they stopped speaking, making things awkward for a few days. Even during their fallout, Yu Huai continued to look out for Geng Geng. Noticing her struggle with mathematics, he asked the teacher to explain the lesson again so she and others could understand better. Touched by his gesture, Geng Geng wrote him an apology letter and begged him to continue helping her study. After reading her letter, Yu Huai smiled and told her she didn't need to write letters anymore. She could simply ask him for help anytime. As the school prepared for an inter-class choir competition, Geng Geng and Yu Huai's class faced challenges. Their singing was far from harmonious, and many classmates doubted they had any chance of winning. One day, a bold student from their school played the guitar and sang in the rain to confess his love to a girl. The commotion attracted security, but Yu Huai stepped in to help calm the situation. During the choir competition, Yu Huai performed a heartfelt solo on stage. His singing was so emotional that Geng Geng couldn't help but feel he was expressing his feelings for someone through the song. Although their class didn't win, they performed well enough to earn praise from their homeroom teacher. Not long after, as the time came to choose their majors for the second year, Geng Geng felt torn. She doubted she could handle the science track because of its difficulty, but the thought of being separated from Yu Huai, who was guaranteed a spot in the science major, made her hesitate. When Geng Geng didn't show up to class, her classmates, including Yu Huai, assumed she had chosen the social studies major and wouldn't be joining them anymore. But just as they were guessing, Geng Geng walked into the classroom with her hair tied back in a ponytail, making her look extra adorable. At that moment, Geng Geng sat down in her usual spot beside Yu Huai and confidently announced that she had chosen the science major. She asked Yu Huai to always be her classmate and help her prepare for the upcoming exams. Yu Huai didn't give a direct answer, but his warm, genuine smile made Geng Geng feel reassured about her decision. From that day on, Geng Geng dedicated most of her time to studying with Yu Huai. She wanted to graduate with good grades and get into her dream university. Her father was surprised to see how much she had changed, becoming focused and motivated in her studies. One day, Geng Geng and Yu Huai planted a tree together, hoping it would grow strong and carry their wishes with it. Before they left, Geng Geng carved their names on the tree trunk as a memory. A few days before the university entrance exams, Yu Huai gave Geng Geng a ride home. To encourage him, Geng Geng drew a lucky charm on his arm with a marker, joking that it would help him ace the exams. Yu Huai seemed like he wanted to say something important to her that day, but he hesitated. Instead, he simply wished her good luck and asked her to meet him in front of the school gate when the exam results were announced. When the big day arrived, Geng Geng waited by the school gate as promised, but Yu Huai never showed up. She tried calling him, but there was no answer. It was as if Yu Huai had vanished without a trace. Heartbroken, she couldn't understand why he had disappeared so suddenly. Years passed, and 7 years later, Geng Geng was now a successful photographer. She had built a good career and earned a steady income. Although she stayed in touch with her high school friends, Jin and Beita, she never saw Yu Huai again. Despite trying to track him down, she couldn't find him. Eventually, she learned from someone that Yu Huai had moved to the United States after graduation. One day, during a high school reunion, Yu Huai unexpectedly showed up, leaving everyone stunned. When Geng Geng finally got a chance to talk to him, she asked why he had left so suddenly and hadn't contacted her for all these years. Yu Huai revealed that the lucky charm she had drawn on his arm had been turned into a real tattoo, a quiet acknowledgement of his feelings for her. However, he quickly dismissed it, denying any deeper meaning. When Geng Geng asked what he had wanted to tell her years ago, Yu Huai brushed it off, claiming he couldn't remember. Hurt by his words, Geng Geng decided to let go of her first love and move on. Later, Geng Geng discovered the real reason behind Yu Huai's disappearance. Contrary to what she had heard, Yu Huai never went to the United States, even though he had earned a full scholarship to a prestigious university there. It was revealed that shortly after their exams, his mother fell seriously ill and required intensive care. Yu Huai kept this a secret from everyone, even Geng Geng. He sold their house and worked tirelessly to cover her medical expenses while also taking care of her. Despite his struggles, Yu Huai never forgot Geng Geng. From a distance, he quietly followed her achievements and felt proud of her success. Yet, he avoided meeting her because he felt he had nothing to show for himself. After discovering the truth, Geng Geng hurried to the hospital where Yu Huai's mother was being treated. However, when she arrived, she learned that his mother had already been discharged. Frustrated but determined, Geng Geng called Yu Huai, demanding an explanation. She told him she now knew everything. Yu Huai, however, brushed her off, saying it no longer mattered since they were no longer classmates, and the past was over. His dismissive attitude infuriated Geng Geng. She couldn't understand how Yu Huai, who had once tirelessly helped her, a struggling student, succeed in the science major, graduate, and get into her dream university, could give up so easily now. After ending the call, Yu Huai received a series of pictures from Geng Geng, photos of their high school days together. Looking at the memories captured in the pictures, Yu Huai broke down in tears. Deep inside, he wanted to see Geng Geng and tell her how he truly felt, but he held back, believing he wasn't good enough to stand beside her now that she had achieved so much. Later, Geng Geng listened to a radio interview with a famous singer. The singer shared a story from his high school years, mentioning how he had once been a reckless student. During a rainstorm, a classmate had stepped in to help him and changed his life. At that moment, Geng Geng quickly realized that the classmate the singer referred to was Yu Huai. In that moment, she understood how deeply Yu Huai had cared for her all along, even back in high school. Determined not to let things end without closure, Geng Geng messaged Yu Huai, asking him to meet her. She waited anxiously, fearing he might not show up. Just when her frustration began to grow, Yu Huai appeared. Finally, they opened up about their feelings. Both confessed that they had secretly fallen in love with each other during high school and that those feelings hadn't faded over the years. The story concludes with Yu Huai gently taking Geng Geng's hand and leading her somewhere. They arrived at the tree they had planted together years ago. Now grown tall and strong, the tree stood as a living witness to their shared memories and unspoken wishes. After all the time that had passed, their dreams had finally come true. So the moral of the story is, life's full of twists. One minute you're getting teased by your deskmate. The next you're uncovering 7 years of secret feelings and heartfelt sacrifices. Love's not always straightforward, but sometimes it grows just like that tree you planted together, strong, steady, and full of surprises.